All right, shalom everyone, and welcome to Jaw Radio, Chazak Eliyahu, and I'm here once again with another Shabbat teaching. Now, normally we would be on YouTube, but that 1 week ban began on Monday, so it will be, I think, Tuesday before we can post on YouTube again. So why not post on Facebook? Because we have the opportunity to, and let's see, and let's hope that this will reach someone whom it's supposed to actually reach. And as you see the title, the latter days cleansing of the saints. This is a very broad topic, but it has been a topic that has been with us for the past couple or more than a couple of weeks. It's just cleansing the Most High, showing us cleansing, 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 and giving us understanding of His cleansing and how important it is for the saints in the end to be cleansed. And of course, we are not here speaking about religion. We are speaking about seeking the Most High diligently, because much of what we might have here today, most people in religion will not be speaking those things. But we seek out the truth of the Most High, and the Most High is revealing to us what He expects of us, and so we share it with you. Who hath an ear to hear, let them hear. Who wants to hear it, hear it. Who wants to refuse it, refuse it. It is up to you. Okay? So, welcome everyone on Facebook who might be watching. This is a surprise. Many people might not see me posting on Facebook, but that is because so much to do otherwise. That is why we have not been here. But here we are today. And so let's see what we have. So the latter days cleansing of the saints, because we know that the saints must be pure and cleansed before the return of Hamashiach. Now, religion, of course, we spoke of religion, and religion has deluded us into thinking that we can be, we don't have to be pure before Hamashiach. We just have to be Christians, and then we will be raptured away. But let's see what it says in the book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the congregation and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious congregation, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be Kadesh and without blemish.
So this is the whole theme of our presentation today. Hamashiach is coming back for a congregation, an assembly, a people that is without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, no impurity, but that it should be Kadesh or Kadash or Kadosh, whatever you want to call it. It should be holy and without blemish, which means it must be perfect. So he gave himself for the congregation that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. So it is the word that is going to cleanse us. It is hearing what the word says and responding to the word that is given to us through his Ruach, which will lead us into all things and lead us into all truths. It is through this truth that we will be cleansed and be ready for him, a splendid congregation, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing. Perfect. As Hamashiach said in Matthew 5:48, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. He told us at the end of Matthew 5, when he spoke the Beatitudes, that this is why he spoke it. He spake it or spoke it, whatever. Because we are to be spotless and we are to be perfect in the sight of the Most High. So it is very important that we understand that, oh boy, I forgot that I didn't do this. That without holiness, we cannot see the Most High. Let's go to Hebrews 12, verse 14.
Follow peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see Yahuwah.
So look at an absolute statement like this. This statement is so absolute. It says without holiness, and holiness is perfection. Without perfection, you cannot see Yahuwah. And yet still, people go through and they teach that all you have to do is this. All you have to do is believe in Jesus. It is done. He died for our sins once and for all. He died for our past, present, and future sins. So even your sins that you are to commit in the future, he has it covered. What does that mean? You can go into willful sin, premeditated sin. You can just sin just like that because Jesus has it covered. Look at what it says. Seek peace with all men. Not only just your brother or your neighbor, with all men. And holiness, without which no man shall see Yahuwah. So if you are not at peace with all men, and if you are not perfect, if you are not holy, you cannot see the Most High. You see the importance of a teaching like this. 1 Peter 1:15.
But as he which hath called you is Kadosh, so be ye Kadosh in all manner of conversation.
Because Yahuwah, who called you, is Kadosh, we also must be Kadosh. Because here is the thing. The Most High calls us to be Kadosh, to be holy. He sent his Son, who is in his image. His image means his likeness. So the Son is in his likeness. The Son came and walked out how the Most High wants us to walk. And the Most High says, follow my Son. This is my beloved Son, hear ye him. So when we hear Hamashiach, when we hear the Son gave us, the Father gave us his Ruach, the same Ruach that was in his Son, the Father gave it to us, so that we too can be in the likeness of his Son and be in his likeness, because the Son is in his likeness. When we take on the likeness of Hamashiach, we come in the likeness of Yahuwah, a man that is perfect without spot and blemish. That is our calling. 2 Peter 3:11.
Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all kadosh conversation and godliness?
So we should be in all our conversation, in all our behavior. We should be set apart and in righteousness. Now, a very important thing as we speak about the end time saints, the book of Jubilees chapter 50 tells us that we must be cleansed. Let me get this book set up. The book of Jubilees chapter 50. What did I say? Yeah. Book of Jubilees chapter 50. Let me get this thing on. Tells us that we must be cleansed of uncleanness before we can enter into the land. Before we can enter into the kingdom, we must be cleansed of all uncleanness. Jubilees 50, verse 1.
And after this Torah, I made known to thee the days of the Shabbats in the desert of Sinai, which is between Elim and Sinai, and told thee of the Shabbats of the land of Mount Sinai, and told thee of the Jubilee years in the Shabbats of years. But the year thereof have I not told thee, till ye enter the land which ye are to possess.
So he's telling them that they, at that time, would know the Jubilees and the Shabbats. Continue.
And the land also shall keep its Shabbats, while they dwell upon it, and they shall know the Jubilee year.
So while they dwell upon it, they shall know the Shabbats and they shall know the Jubilee year. But when we are scattered, we will not know the Jubilee year. Some people say we do not even know the Shabbat. Because some people say, okay, you're keeping the Shabbat on the wrong day. And there's much confusion surrounding that. But when we are scattered, we will not know the Jubilee year. Because the Jubilees are very important in that the Jubilees signify milestone events. So when we are to enter into the land of Yasharal, it will be the end of a Jubilee. So we do not know the end of the Jubilee today, because if we knew the end of the Jubilee, we would know when we are to be gathered back into the land. Continue.
Wherefore I have ordained for thee the year, weeks, and the years, and the Jubilees. There are 49 Jubilees from the days of Adam until this day, and 1 week and 2 years, and there are yet 40 years to come for learning the commandments of Yahuwah until they pass over into the land of Canaan, crossing the Jordan to the west.
All right, so this is speaking about the end time. Verse 5 now.
And the Jubilees shall pass by until Yasharal is cleansed from all guilt of fornication and uncleanness and pollution and sin and error, and dwells with confidence in all the land. And there shall be no more Satan or any evil one, and the land shall be clean from that time for evermore.
So we see there shall be no more a Satan. When we see this, we know that this is the 1,000-year reign. So before we enter the land for the 1,000-year reign of Hamashiach, before the return of Hamashiach, the Jubilees shall pass by until Yasharal is cleansed. So his people in the end, the Latter-day Saints, have to be cleansed before they enter into the land. They have to be cleansed from all guilt of fornication. That includes sexual sins and idolatry. All uncleanness, anything that defiles them. Any pollution, any sin, any error. All of those things have to be passed away. That is why the word says, as we just said before, that we have to be perfect, because Yahushua HaMashiach is coming for a congregation, an assembly without spot and wrinkle or any such thing. He's coming back for a perfect assembly. Therefore, our calling is to be perfect. Is to be perfect. And the Most High has us here, for example, in this location as a group together, perfecting us with the different things that we're going through. At the end, we have to be perfect. We cannot be here resistant to change, rebelling against His word, rebelling against what He says, rebelling against His corrections. We have to be responsive to His word, or else we will be counted as rebels. And what did He say? I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that sin against me. Okay? So read Jubilees 50 verse 5 again before we move on, because this is so very important and forms a foundation of what we are doing.
And the Jubilees shall pass by until Yasharal is cleansed from all guilt of fornication and uncleanness and pollution and sin and error, and dwells with confidence in all the land. And there shall be no more Satan or any evil one, and the land shall be clean from that time for evermore. And behold, the commandment regarding...
That's it. Okay. So I'm just emphasizing the necessity for this teaching, because a lot of people might be saying, oh, why are you doing this? These are unnecessary. The things that we're going to say, they might say it's unnecessary. So the inheritance of the kingdom is for those who are sanctified. Those who are sanctified. And the word sanctified, we're going to look at that. Those who are cleansed, who are pure, who are holy. Acts 20, verses 28 to 32. Acts 20, verses 28 to 32. And if anyone is wondering how you can find this on Facebook, it is facebook.com/ Brian Jaro. BrianJaro. Facebook.com/BrianJaro. I hope it is, the feed is for the public. I do hope so. Anyone, I think that is what I did. Who can comment on your post? Let me see. Public. Done. All right, that should be for everyone. But all right, so let's continue. Acts 20, verses 28 to 32. Read, please.
Take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock, over the which the Ruach HaKadosh hath made you overseers, to feed the assembly of Eluah, which he hath purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things, to draw away disciples after them. Therefore watch, and remember that by the space of 3 years I ceased not to warn every one night and day with tears. And now, brethren, I commend you to Eluah, and to the word of his favour, which is able to build you up, and to give you an inheritance among all them which are sanctified.
All right, verse 32, you see the inheritance? The inheritance is among all them which are sanctified. Sanctified. So if we are not sanctified, we have no inheritance. If we are not sanctified, we have no inheritance. And let's see the meaning of sanctified. It's a good time to look at the meaning of sanctified. Verse 32, that is. All right, sanctified, G37. It's hagiazo, the Greek hagiazo from G40, to make set apart or to make holy. That is ceremonially purify or consecrate, mentally to venerate, hallow, be holy, sanctify. So to be, the inheritance is among those who are sanctified, those who are holy, those who are set apart, those who are perfect. That is where the inheritance of the kingdom is. So, here's this now. Here is a principle though. We ourselves must cleanse ourselves first, and then Yahuwah will sanctify us. Yahuwah will pass us as being sanctified, as clean. Now, we do not really sanctify ourselves, but we take steps to have ourselves sanctified because the Most High helps us, but he does not actually do everything for us. What do I mean? The Ruach HaKadosh that he gives us is the Ruach Amat, the Spirit of Truth, that guides us into all truth, leads us into all truth. So it will lead us into the path of righteousness so that we have the choice as to what to do or not. He will lead us in the path of righteousness to see if we make the right decision to have ourselves cleansed. So he sets up the situations for us, but the decision is ours in the situation in which he sets us in. So we must sanctify ourselves first, and then in the end, Yahuwah will pass us as being sanctified. Read Leviticus 20, verse 7, please.
Sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye kadosh, for I am Yahuwah your Eluah.
So as you see, sanctify yourselves. Sanctify yourselves. You sanctify yourself. You sanctify yourself. It is an active decision on your part. Verse 8.
And ye shall keep my statutes and do them, I am Yahuwah, which sanctify you.
You see that? He says, sanctify yourself. But he says, I am Yahuwah that sanctify you. So if you look at the word Kadash, age 6942, the word for sanctify as used there, as sanctify yourselves, a primitive root to be causatively, make, pronounce, or observe as clean. So when he says, I am Yahuwah that sanctifies you, it says, sanctify yourself first, and then I, Yahuwah, will pass you as being sanctified. So to causatively make, pronounce, or observe as clean, that is what the Most High does. You sanctify yourself, and then the Most High will sanctify you, will pass you as being clean. Clean ceremonially or morally, appoint, bid, consecrate, dedicate, defile, hallow, be, keep holy, holier, holy place, keep, prepare, proclaim, purify, sanctify, sanctified one, sanctified self, holy. So this is us choosing, electing the perfect way, the way of righteousness, sanctified way. Leviticus 11:44. Read it, please.
For I am Yahuwah your Eluah. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves,
Sanctify,
and ye shall be kadosh.
sanctify yourselves, and be kadosh. It is our choice, people. Continue.
For I am kadosh. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. For I am Yahuwah that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt to be your Eluah. Ye shall therefore be kadosh, for I am kadosh.
And Yahuwah does not change. Remember, in the end, we will be what? The sons of Eluah. Yahusha called himself the son of Eluah. Now, if we are to be the children of Eluah, the sons of Eluah, we also have to be like him. That is why I said in the beginning, he gave us a Mashiach to show us an example for us to follow, so that we, like a Mashiach, can be like him. He says here, sanctify yourselves. And he also says, for you shall be kadosh, holy, for I am kadosh. Because I, the Most High, he's saying, because I, the Most High, am kadosh, you, my children, also have to be kadosh. Continue.
This is the Torah of the beasts, and of the fowl, and of every living creature that moveth in the waters, and of every creature that creepeth upon the earth, to make a difference between the unclean and the clean, and between the beast that may be eaten and the beast that may not be eaten.
So the Most High makes a difference between the clean and the unclean. He makes a difference between the clean and the unclean at all times. But what are we taught? We are taught that there is no uncleanness in us. All you have to do is this, and all you have to do is that. Let's see another incident in which the Most High puts a difference between the clean and the unclean. Exodus 11, verses 6 to 7. Go, please.
And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall be like it any more. But against any of the children of Yasharal shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how that Yahuwah doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Yasharal.
So he puts a difference between the Egyptians and Yasharal. He puts a difference between the clean and the unclean. Those who follow him and walk in his way are clean. Others are unclean. So he makes a difference between the clean and unclean. We deceive ourselves in religion today, thinking that we can present ourselves to the Most High any way. So we must opt to wash ourselves and be clean. The Most High does not change people. He's the same Eluah in the Old Testament as in the New. except that the Torah is magnified through Yahushua HaMashiach in the New Testament. He is no different. It is the same principle, except different manifestation. So we must opt to wash ourselves and be clean. The book of Leviticus 15, verse 13.
And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean.
Shall wash and be clean. 2 Kings 5:10.
And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean.
So the Most High has a principle of washing, and it's all over the Old Testament. We just gave a few. All over the Old Testament of washing and being clean, because we cannot come before him defiled. Isaiah 1 verse 16.
Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil.
Evil, sin stands in the way. We cannot be clean if sin is in our path. And wash and be clean in the New Testament, Acts 2:38.
Then Peter said unto them, Repent and be immersed every one of you in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach for the remission of sins, and ye shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKadosh.
All right. So that is the New Testament manifestation of the washing. And there is I'm trying to find this. Let me get this spelling right. Who knows what I'm trying to find? All right. I can't get it fast enough, so I'll leave it alone. Something to strengthen that. All right. But another principle of cleansing that we want to understand: before Yahuwah works among us, we must be sanctified. We must be cleansed. So many people want the manifestation of the power of the Most High, but we remain dirty. And therefore, we cannot see his power. Especially in an assembly like this, small assembly, we have to be cleansed before the Most High will truly manifest his power among us. The camp is dirty, the Most High will not manifest himself in us. Let me get this thing up here. All right, before Yahuwah works among us, we must be sanctified. Read Numbers 11:18, please.
And say thou unto the people, Sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and ye shall eat flesh. For ye have wept in the ears of Yahuwah, saying, Who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore Yahuwah will give you flesh, and ye shall eat.
So before the Most High gives them, the Most High says, Sanctify yourselves. Joshua 3:5.
And Joshua said unto the people, Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow Yahuwah will do wonders among you.
See that? Sanctify yourselves. Cleanse yourselves. So that is why today, spiritually, when we want anything of the Most High, we first have to cleanse ourselves before him. And cleansing ourselves, of course, means repentance. True repentance. If we have any luggage, anything that will defile us, anything that is sinful or unclean, how can we go before the Most High expecting him to give us that which we are asking? We have to first cleanse ourselves. If we have done wrong, we repent. Yes? If there's any unforgiveness in us, we forgive before we seek the Most High for anything. Joshua 3:5, and Yahusha said unto the people, Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow Yahuwah will do wonders among you. Joshua 7:13. Read it, please.
Up, sanctify the people, and say,
Sanctify yourselves. Hold on. Sanctify the people and say, sanctify yourselves. So cleansing is ours. We are responsible individually for cleansing ourselves. So cleansing the people and say, cleanse yourselves. So this is how you cleanse the people. Tell them to cleanse themselves. Start over, please, and continue.
Up, sanctify the people, and say, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow. For thus says Yahuwah Eluah of Yasharel, there is an accursed thing in the midst of thee, O Yasharel. Thou canst not stand before thine enemies until ye take away the accursed thing from among you.
Oh, this is the same thing I just said, isn't it? You cannot go before the Most High and expect Him to do anything if you have sin among you. If you are not cleansed, if you have any weight that is upon you, you have to cleanse yourself first. So even people will ask for prayer. You first have to say a prayer of repentance. Cleanse yourself before Him so that His prayer can go through unhindered. Now, a very important thing here now. You see, even after we have been declared clean, even after we have been cleansed, that great opposer, deceiver of mankind, the one who has deceived the whole world, is never ever going to stop. He's not going to look at you and say, hey, Amikai is cleansed. Oh, that's good. I'll leave him alone. No. He is going to try whatever strategy he can use to try to get you to, remember we said cleanse yourself, to try to get you to pollute yourself. And we're going to use the incident of Balaam and show us how Satan works so we can understand the tricks and the wiles of the devil. So even after being declared clean, Satan will try to tempt us to go into unrighteousness. Let's go to the book of Yahudah, chapter 1, verse 11. Jude, chapter 1, verse 11. Hold on, please, George, if you're going too fast for me. Chapter 1, verse 11. Now, what does it mean by this? Jude 1:11.
Woe unto them, for they have gone in the way of Cain, and ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward, and perished in the gainsaying of Korah.
All right, so today we are concerned with the error, ran greedily after the error of Balaam for reward. What is he talking about? Because we know that Balaam, when Balak, and we're going to go to the passage, so just giving a summary. When Balak, the son of, what's his name? We soon get to it. Forgot it now. He called Balaam and said to Balaam, curse the children of Yasharal. And every time Balaam made Balak do an offering in order to curse the children of Yasharal, the Most High told Balaam, no, what are you doing? You can't curse these people. And then Balaam left. But there is something that is not shown up in that account. Yes? And we're going to show what was not shown up. Balaam advised Balak, it seems, how to get around the children of Yasharal. You can't curse them? So this is what you're going to do. Let's go there. Yes? Right now, the Most High is gathering his people. In Revelation 12, it says, Satan cast out water as a flood after the woman. Satan is going to cast out all sorts of unclean ruach, all sorts of unclean spirits, all sorts of tricks he's going to use. For those of us who have decided to fled out of the midst of Babylon, he's going to try every trick in order to get us. Yes? And let's see what he did with Balaam. Because in the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 14, it also mentions it. And we get a little more clues from that. Revelation chapter 2, verse 14.
But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Yasharal.
All right, you see that? So even though he could not curse the children of Yasharal, he taught Balak how to cast a stumbling block. And last week we looked at stumbling block, didn't we? How to cast a stumbling block before the children of Yasharal. And this is what the stumbling block did. Continue.
So
go ahead. Wherever you want to start from. Start over.
let me start over.
Yeah.
But I have a few things against thee, because thou hast there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Yasharal, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, and to commit fornication.
All right. So this was what he taught Balak to do. All right, Balak, we can't curse them, but here's what you can do. Yes? We can get them to commit fornication with the Midianite woman, and we can get them to follow the woman, to worship the gods, to eat the food that were sacrificed unto idols. That is a stumbling block. And look at it. This is the New Testament. And the Most High, the Messiah rather, is telling you that he hates all of this. He is opposed to all of this. So we are saying, oh, in the New Testament, oh, things sacrificed unto idols and all of this. It's not necessary. Let's see what we are referring to. And let's go to the book of Bemidbar, or Numbers 23, verses 17 to, is that 23? Numbers 23, let's start at verse 17. Start at verse 16.
And Yahuwah met Balaam, and put a word in his mouth, and said, Go again to Balak, and say thus. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by his burnt offering, and the princes of Moab with him. And Balak said unto him, What has Yahuwah spoken? And he took up his parable, and said, Rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, thou son of Zippor. Allure is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it? Or hath he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he hath blessed, and I cannot reserve it. Reverse it. He hath not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Yasharel. Yahuwah, his allure, is with him, and the shout of a king is among them.
So here we go. Yahuwah has sanctified Yasharal. It says, He hath not seen iniquity in Jacob, neither perverseness in Yasharal. You see? So at any time, we can be clean. At any time we can be clean, and one incident, one little thing, throws us all into uncleanness. Because at this particular point, the Most High declared to Yasharal that they were clean. No iniquity in Jacob, neither hath he seen perverseness in Yasharal. As a matter of fact, Yahuwah said, Yahuwah his allure is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. 22 to 23.
Allure brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn.
So now, no enemy can come again. You see, when you are clean before the Most High, no enemy can triumph over you. Because hear this, verse 23.
Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Yasharal. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Yasharal, What hath the Ruah wrought?
Oh, so Yahuwah was well pleased with Yasharal that he had. Well pleased. He says there's no enchantment and no divination. So no enemy can come with any form of witchcraft or any form of dark powers against these people, because Yahuwah is now among them. He has not found iniquity in them, no perverseness in them. But what happened along the way? Something happened along the way. Let's go to 24:10 to 14 and continue this saga. 24:10 to 14. So, but for about three times? Balak kept coming back to Balaam to try again, see if he can get to curse them. But Balaam kept blessing the children, kept giving barakah to the children of Yasharal. And verse 10 says,
And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I call thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times.
All right, so hear this. We have Balak now going against Balaam. This is how it is in this world, people. You see, when you are speaking the words of the Most High, you are going to be hated. People are going to take it that you are speaking your own words. When you are being a messenger, the Most High is channeling his words through you, using you as a vessel. People are going to hate you. It's the same thing with Hamashiach. When he came, they ended up killing him. The apostles, they did the same thing. Here, Balak is doing the same thing with Balaam, being angry with him. Verse 11.
Therefore now flee thou to thy place. I thought to promote thee unto great honour, but lo, Yahuwah hath kept thee back from honour.
And notice this. He says, Yahuwah hath kept thee back from honor. So he knew that it was Yahuwah who did it. But yet still he's angry with who? Balaam. You see it? He knows that it's Yahuwah, but he's angry with the medium that Yahuwah used, because he knows that he cannot be angry with Yahuwah. So he chose the weak fence, who is Balaam, he thinks. Continue.
And Balaam said unto Balak, Spake I not also to thy messengers which thou sendest unto me, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of Yahuwah, to do either good or bad of mine own mind. But what Yahuwah said, that will I speak.
Mm-hmm.
And now, behold, I go unto my people. Come therefore, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days.
All right, so it tells what is going to happen in these last days today, these latter days. But it seems as if now that Balaam had said, okay, I'll leave these people alone. But something happened along the way. 24:25. Read verse 25, please.
And Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak also went his way.
But something happened before that, because we reached to chapter 25, verse 1 to 5, and this happened. Balaam actually taught Balak and told him how to snare the children of Yasharal, sexual sins, and with food. Those are 2 of the greatest temptations, 2 of the greatest snares that destroys our people. Up to this day, it is the very, very same thing that is used. It's the easiest way to snare our people. Bemidbar 26, verse 1.
25, verse 1.
25, did I say 25?
Yeah.
All right, my mistake. 25, verse 1. Yeah.
And Yasharal abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Why? Because Balak was told what to do. He was told how to parade the daughters of his people so as to tempt the children of Yasharal so that they be snared into whoredoms. Numbers 25, verse 2.
And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods.
Mm-hmm.
And the people did eat and bowed down to their gods.
So you see, one of the greatest snares is the lure of a woman. Sadly enough, one of the greatest snares for mankind is the lure of a woman. So these people now were clean before the Most High. The Most High was boasting about them. And then the women came, and the people did eat and bow down to the gods of the other nations. So, just like that. That's the power of a woman. Verse 3.
And Yasharal joined himself unto Baal Peor.
Unto Baal Peor, Yasharal joined themselves. They forgot all about Yahuwah. And joined themselves unto Baal Peor. And what happened from Yahuwah?
And the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Yasharal.
Now, when we go into uncleanness, it is not a simple thing. The Most High, being Kadosh, being holy and perfect, He takes His time to nourish us and nurture us and to get us into perfection. Now, when we get into a certain level of perfection and then we go into uncleanness, the anger of Yahuwah is kindled against us. And when His anger is kindled against us, hey, we don't want Him to take action, because it might mean our destruction. Let's see what He did here physically. It might be our spiritual destruction today. Let's see what He does here.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, Take all the heads of the people and hang them up before Yahuwah against the sun, that the fierce anger of Yahuwah may be turned away from Yasharal.
The people, you see what I'm talking about here? Take all the heads of the people and hang them up before Yahuwah against the sun, that the fierce anger of Yahuwah may be turned away from Yasharal. You see, when we make the Most High angry. And verse 5.
And Moses said unto the judges of Yasharal, Slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor.
Slay them, kill them. And we know the story of Phinehas after that, who stayed the plague. Yeah, we can go into it. Verse 6.
And behold, one of the children of Yasharal came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses,
Total disrespect. And
in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Yasharal, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
so guess what happened now? This man came in late. He did not see what was happening. He did not see what had transpired. So just as was everyone was doing, he brought in this woman, not realizing that people were being slain for this woman, because the congregation was weeping. Why were they weeping? Because the heads of the people who had joined to Baal Peor were hung up against the sun, and he did not see it. Verse 7.
And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Yasharal into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Yasharal and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Yasharal.
Continue.
And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
24,000. And it was the killing of these two that stayed the plague. The Most High does not play. Let's go to verse 10 and see the zeal of Phinehas.
And Yahuwah spoke unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned my wrath away from the children of Yasharal, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Yasharal in my jealousy.
You see the importance of zeal. Phinehas' zeal stayed the wrath and ensured that other people did not die. 2 people were killed, and it stayed Yahuwah's wrath. And Yahuwah says in the continuing verses that he will give him an eternal covenant of peace. He will give him the covenant of an everlasting priesthood for that which he did. Okay? So, as we were saying that he makes a difference between the children of Yasharal and Egypt, we were saying that Yasharal is a set-apart people unto Yahuwah. The importance of cleansing or being clean, Yahuwah is set apart. He created the world and he set apart these people unto himself and said, these people shall be Kadosh. These people shall be holy, Kadosh, as I am Kadosh. Deuteronomy 7, verses 6 to 8. Deuteronomy 7, verses 6 to 8.
For thou art an Kadosh people unto Yahuwah thy Eluah. Yahuwah thy Eluah has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So because he has chosen them to be a special people unto himself, these people have to be clean, have to be sanctified, have to be Kadosh. Don't take this thing like as if it is a religion. You come and you think that worshiping the Most High, singing to him, reading his Bible, knowing his scriptures is anything to impress him. we have to be perfect. We have to be clean. We have to be kadosh. We have to be sanctified. We have to be holy. Continue. Without blemish or spot.
Yahuwah did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because Yahuwah loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, has Yahuwah brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh the king of Egypt.
All right. So because Yahuwah loved you and because he would keep the oath that he swore unto your fathers. So for that, those of us who come to him must be kadosh, must be holy. Deuteronomy 28 verses 8 to 9. Coming up. Read, please.
Yahuwah shall command the blessing upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which Yahuwah thy Elohah giveth thee. Yahuwah shall establish thee and kadosh people unto himself, as he hath sworn unto thee, if thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahuwah thy Elohah and walk in his ways.
You see the two conditions? If you keep the commandments of Elohah thy Elohah and walk in his way, ye shall establish you to be a set apart people unto himself. Unto himself. Verse 10.
And all people, excuse me, and all people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of Yahuwah, and they shall be afraid of thee.
How shall they see? Except that you are totally different from them. You are totally different from them. Your ways are not the ways of normal man. That is why the word says, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature. If you are in Hamashiach, it does not mean you say you follow Hamashiach, you automatically become a new creature. What it means is if you are a new creature, it manifests that you are in Hamashiach. So many people, Christians, like to repeat, if any man be in Hamashiach, I'm a new creature. I am a new creature. No, you're not a new creature simply because you say it. You have to walk the walk. Faith without works is dead. You have to manifest the new creation for Yahusha to be manifest in you. Okay? So, sanctification requires us to make some hard decisions. And it also means that the Most High will make some hard decisions that will bruise us. And the Most High in the past, as we saw in the case of with the Israelites with the Midianites, he will destroy his people for uncleanness. The book of Shemoth, chapter 32, 25 to 35. Exodus 32, 25 to 35. Hold on, please. Let's go.
And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies.
So this is when Moses came back down from the mountain and the children of Israel had gone into whoredom, worshipping that calf. Verse 26.
Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, Who is on Yahuwah's side? Let him come unto me. And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him.
All right, let's see the hard decisions now.
And he said unto them, Thus says Yahuwah Elohah of Yasharel, Put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor.
You see this? What a hard task. Imagine this. Imagine the Most High coming and telling us to do this. It's a hard task. But this is a choice, because he gave them a choice. Unclean. If you wish to remain unclean, all right, stay over there. Those who are on Yahuwah's side, who wish to be sanctified, come over here. So those who chose to remain unclean was the worst decision that they made in their lives. Likewise for us today, in this time, if we choose to remain unclean, it will be the worst decision we make because it means our salvation is at risk. Verse 28.
And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. For Moses had said, consecrate yourselves today to Yahuwah, even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day.
So you see, consecrate yourselves today to Yahuwah. And how do you consecrate yourself? Even every man upon his son. They had to turn against their own family member in order to consecrate themselves from the error that they perpetrated. That he may bestow upon you a blessing this day. So to counter the uncleanness, it required some hard things for them to do so that Yahuwah will not destroy them, but will barak them. Verse 30.
And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses said unto the people, Ye have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up unto Yahuwah, peradventure I shall make an atonement for your sin. And Moses returned unto Yahuwah, and said, Oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, Whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book.
You see, whenever there is uncleanness against in the Most High, whomsoever has sinned against Yahuwah, those are the ones Yahuwah will blot out of the book. But those who condone it also are going to be in trouble. All right? Verse 34.
Therefore now go, lead the people unto the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, mine angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I visit, I will visit their sin upon them.
So the sin, those who are guilty will die, will suffer for their sin. But the Most High says, it's not now that I'm executing it. So people, we're trying to beseech people to strive to walk in righteousness. Because it is not, there is a Jamaican saying, I know the same day leaf drop in the water rotten. In English, it is not the same day the leaf drops in the water that it will rot. Which means that you sin today, you're not necessarily going to get hit the same time. It will be delayed, and you will be there happy and nice, thinking and going along until the Most High just revisits your sin upon you. This has been my experience. And that is why I am so always warning people, because of what I have gone through and what I have seen, and the Most High has shown me himself these different ways. All right? Sometimes he will hit you right away. Sometimes there's a time when he will visit your sins upon you. Verse 35.
And Yahuwah plagued the people because they made the calf which Aaron made.
All right. So that is a sin, the uncleanness of idolatry. There are several types of uncleanness. That is one, uncleanness. So another thing we have to understand again, that if we are unclean, the Most High will hide himself from us. He will separate himself from us, and we will be seeking him, and we cannot find him. Shemoth 39:23, Exodus 39:23.
Ezekiel, is it?
Ezekiel 30. Ezekiel 39:23. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
And the heathen shall know that the house of Yasharal went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore I hid my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword.
Continue.
According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them.
All right. So if we are in uncleanness, in iniquity, in transgression, the Most High will hide himself from us. We will be seeking him and cannot find him, because he hides himself according to our uncleanness and according to our transgressions. And we are going to look at a few manifestations of uncleanness that the Most High has shown us over the past few weeks. Just the ones, there are many, many, but just the ones that he has shown us. And these that he has shown us are some of the ones that the world largely ignores. And the Most High is showing us that these are still relevant. I have not changed. Deuteronomy 32:17.
They sacrificed unto devils, not to a lure, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock that begat thee, thou art unmindful.
Go to verse 20, sorry.
And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith.
So they had no emanah, because they did not have the emanah to stay with him through thick and thin, through ups and downs, and be able to keep themselves under subjection while following him. No, they had to go out and seek after other gods to look for provision from the devils. So he says, I will hide my face from them. All right, so let's go at another principle again. Here's another principle. The clean cannot make unclean clean, but the unclean makes the clean unclean. If you are clean, you cannot associate with someone who is unclean and make them clean. But if someone is unclean and they associate with someone who is clean, they will defile the clean person or clean object or whatever and make it unclean. Haggai 2 verse 10, and the men would know these verses. Haggai 2 verse 10 to 14.
In the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of Yahuwah by Haggai the prophet, saying, Thus says Yahuwah of hosts, ask now the priests concerning the law, saying, If one bear kadesh flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread, or pottage, or wine, or oil, or any meat, shall it be kadosh? And the priests answered and said, No.
All right, so if he bears that which is kadosh or holy in the skirt of his garment and he touches something that is unclean or ordinary, does it make it also kadosh or does it also make it holy? The answer is no. The holy, the kadosh, cannot make that which is not kadosh to be kadosh. Verse 13.
Then said Haggai, If one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priests answered and said, It shall be unclean.
All right, so the unclean makes the thing unclean, but the clean does not make the thing clean. Very important. It is the same thing with us as people. If we are unclean, and we're going to look at a couple uncleanness. If we are unclean and we associate with that which is clean, we are going to make the unclean, the clean to be unclean. If we are clean and we associate with that which is unclean, we are going to become unclean. That's why the Most High says, Come out from among them and be ye separate, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. The clean has to be separate from the unclean. And that is why David said, Barak is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. The unclean will make the clean unclean. Did we go verse 14?
Then answered Haggai and said, So is this people, and so is this nation before me, says Yahuwah, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean.
So, the people being polluted with the unclean, he says, every work of their hands is unclean. Everything that they offer is unclean. All right, so we're going to look at a few defilements, a few instances of things that actually make us unclean that the Most High has brought to our attention over the past few weeks. The first thing that we want to look at, there are many ways that we are defiled. These are just a few ways. We would be here all day speaking if we were to look at all of them. These are just a few that the Most High showed us. And the first thing that we have to bring to our attention is the defilement of food. The defilement of food. Deuteronomy 14, verse 2.
For thou art a set apart people unto Yahuwah thy Elohim, and Yahuwah hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all the nations that are upon the earth. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing.
All right. Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. Now, many people will have us to believe that now we are able to eat abominable thing, that we have New Covenant, New Testament, and now we can rise, kill, and we can eat all forms of abominable things. But Yahuwah says, I am Yahuwah, I changeth not. Unclean is unclean. You don't have a testament, and then unclean becomes clean. No way. How is it now that pork is unclean, and then because you say it is unclean, it is clean, it becomes clean? Huh? Yeah, they bless it.
Yeah.
And it automatically becomes clean. No such thing. It is still unclean. Unclean meat. When Shaul was speaking about blessing the food, he was speaking about food. Not all flesh is food. When Shaul speak about meats, the word for meats there is the Hebrew word broma, which means food. So it is translated as meats. People think it is only speaking about literal meats. It's speaking about food. Now, pork is not food. Food is that which is sanctified by the word of Yahuwah. And what is sanctified by the word of Yahuwah is what is holy by the word of Yahuwah, which is given to us in the book of Leviticus 11. Those are foods. The ones he says we can eat are foods. The others are just flesh. So elephant meat is not food. Pork is not food. Lion meat is not food. Lion meat is not food. Yes?
At least not
food is food. Cow, beef is food. Sheep, food. Goat, food. Dove, food. Yeah? Chicken, food.
Yeah.
What else? All the things that are past, deer, food. So all of those things that the Most High says are food are food. So these are the things that he says are sanctified when you bless them and eat them, not elephant meat or lion meat. Okay? Huh? Or pig, yeah. Isaiah 65:4. So this Isaiah 65:4 is speaking about the end times to show that the Most High is going to hold us accountable for eating abominable flesh. Read, please.
which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable things is in their vessels, which say, Stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou. These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all the day.
All right, so he is speaking here, and it continues to tell the judgment that are going to be on these people. He is telling you who his judgment will be upon. Those who lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, and broth of abominable things is in their vessel. And there's another one, 65:17, who spoke of the mouse, isn't it? I forgot that one. Isaiah 65, I think it's 17. I am holy. Isaiah 65, no. Where is it again? Isaiah 65, 66:17, sorry. Read it, please.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination, and the mouse, shall be consumed together, says Yahuwah.
All right? So I don't know what these people are talking about. Isaiah 66 is the last book of the Bible. And we know Isaiah dedicated to the end times. To the end times. And if you look at verse 19, read 18 and 19 to show you that it is the end times. Read it, please.
For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my splendor. I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that escape of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow, to Tubal and Javan, to the isles afar off, that have not heard my fame, neither have seen my splendor, and they shall declare my splendor among the Gentiles.
So I just said that to let you know that these are the end times. So food is another of the things that is going to cause us to be in trouble. Now, a thing about food is Satan knows this so much, Satan places great emphasis on food, on polluting our foods. Almost everything you can look at, some form of pork is in it. Now, I want you to know something. The Most High says, flee out of the midst of Babylon, people. Almost every product in Babylon is polluted. That is Satan's desire. Polluted most often by pork, but also by other chemicals and petroleum products, and also abrasive products and all sorts of things. For example, here in South Africa, their favorite drink is Coca-Cola, it seems. Everywhere you go, people drinking Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is one big, if you want to clean your toilet, just throw the Coca-Cola in it. Very abrasive. Very abrasive. And not only that. Huh? It's a chemical, it's not a drink. And not only that, I remember a study I saw a few years ago that they did with Coca-Cola. And they compared the effects on the telomeres. The telomeres are some little long things that are at the end of, I think, your chromosomes or something, that determine the length of our lives. The shorter the telomeres, the shorter we will live. The longer the telomeres, the longer is your natural lifespan. And they did a study comparing the effects of cigarette and the effects of Coca-Cola on the telomeres, and they were the same. Just as smoking kills you, it's the same way that thing kills us as well. So it is a very serious world that we live in which the whole aim is to get us into problem with food. All sorts of pollutants in the food. So sometimes they will give you a chemical, and the chemical might say it is made from animal products. When it is said it is made from animal products, there's a huge chance that that thing is made from pork. Why? Pork is the cheapest and most prevalent animal in the world. They use every part of pork in order to defile us. So when you say made from animal products, and it is, you have to look, is this pork? You know what I mean? So the best thing to do, people, is to avoid the supermarkets as much as we can. To avoid these processed goods as much as they can, because we are defiling ourselves. The Most High said, flee out of the midst of Babylon. He says, flee, and he means to flee. We are defiling ourselves with their food. We did a teaching on food that says it all. Defiling us with their toothpaste, toothbrush, their oils, their ointments, their lotions, their everything. Especially with your skin is an organ that absorbs. When you look on the bottle, the lotion bottle, and you see ingredients, you see a whole long thing. It's a whole lot of chemicals in there. By the time you search for what is in those chemicals, you get exhausted. What do you think? They know, and the ingredients are usually very small. These are pollutants they're putting in there. And if you just Google the name of it and put source, I'm very sure that you will see all sorts of abominations that it is done. So when he says flee out of the midst of Babylon, we are to be, I know, remember when I was young, and the Rastafarians used to go to the hills. They're saying that they were leaving Babylon, and they used to go in the hills, and they used to get a sack made of crocus, a crocus bag, put their belongings in there, go up in the hills, and all they do in the hills, they might farm in the hills, and they have nothing to do with Babylon. When they come back, if you see them at all, a lot of them are barefooted. They don't go in the supermarkets. They don't eat from the restaurants. They don't do. I want to tell you that that is our call. It might sound really bad, but that is our call. To see as much as possible how we can divorce ourselves from them. Why? Because Babylon is there to pollute us. That's what it's there for. To pollute us. Simple. All right, so here's another defilement of food that we ignore a lot. And this one is always in the back of my mind, and I have to speak about it for those who are preparing the food that I might eat. When I used to cook for myself, I made great pains in making sure that the blood is not in the food. Eating blood. Genesis 9, verse 3.
Every moving thing that liveth shall be meat for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat, and surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man, at the hand of every man's brother, will I require the life of man.
So you see the salvation thing, that it's not easy. So how many angles there are definite judgments for a slight mistake. It says, if you eat the blood, I will require it of the beast. So if you're eating beef and we're eating the blood in the beef, the Most High says he will require the life of that animal from us. Why? The life is in the blood. The life is in the DNA that is in the blood. So we have to make very, very sure that whenever we are eating, we make sure that there is no blood in the flesh or whatever we are eating. So the eat there means to eat literally or figuratively at all. Burn up, consume, devour, dine, eat, feed, food, freely, wise, plenty, meat, quite. So it's consuming anything that has the blood in it. Now, why is it evil? Because drinking blood, it has demonic, attributes and implications to it. The people who do witchcraft and do sorcery, enchantments, one of the things that they do is drink blood. There is something that the demons enjoy with blood. So you cannot be truly free and righteous consuming blood. And several times throughout the scripture, the Most High warns about eating blood. Let's look at the law against eating blood, Leviticus 17:10-16. Leviticus 17:10-16. Go ahead, please.
And whatsoever man there be of the house of Yasharal, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people.
Now, this is how serious this pollution is, this defilement is. Verse 11.
Just a side, when I lived in America, and the times when you used to go to a burger bar, they always asked you rare, medium rare, or well done, because it's almost like a challenge. You can go from well done, and as you get more mature with the people you eat with, you go to medium rare, and then you eventually end up eating it rare. And then it's like they didn't even cook this one; they just wafted it over the flames, and it's just pure blood and meat. Yeah, they weren't eating pork; it was beef, but it was blood. It's like a macho thing. I don't know whether it's the same with the women, but it was with the American men.
Oh. So they do it in England?
No, not as much as in America.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. I suppose it's a macho thing, but it's just Satan doing his thing. Yeah.
Yes. I set my face against. Imagine the Most High set his face against you. Woo! What a thought. Scary. Verse 11.
For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. For it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. Therefore I said unto the children of Yasharal, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourneth among you eat blood. And whatsoever man there be of the children of Yasharal, or of the strangers that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust.
All right. Notice the Most High says, that catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten. Not all are food. That may be eaten, those are food. Anyway, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with the dust to make sure that all the blood drains out. Verse 14.
For it is the life of all flesh, the blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Yasharal, ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh, for the life of all flesh is the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth, it shall be cut off.
Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off. So people, when you are preparing, place special emphasis on getting rid of the blood. Verse 15. Notice how many times the Most High is repeating it here. Over and over and over again. Verse 15.
And every soul that eateth that which died of itself, or that which was torn with beasts, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. Then shall he be clean.
All right. Well, verse 16.
But if he wash them not, or bathe his flesh, nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity.
So this is food. If you eat anything that dies of itself, you shall be unclean, but there is provision for you to be cleansed. Okay. Let's go to 3 verses in the book of Jubilees. Jubilees 6, verses 12 to 14, about eating blood. Let's go there. Jubilees 6, verses 12 to 14. Jubilees 2, No, I know. I'm seeing Jubilees 2 or Jubilees 8. Jubilees 6 verses 12 to 14. Read it, please.
And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth.
During?
All the days of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And the man who eats the blood of beast or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed
Oh boy.
shall be rooted out of the land.
He and his seed, even your generation, shall be rooted out of the land. Verse 13.
And do you command the children of Yasharal to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before Yahuwah our sovereign ruler continually. And for this Torah there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day and at the time of morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before Yahuwah, that they may keep it and not be rooted out.
Okay. So this has implications, of course, on us, even buying meats from people who we don't know, restaurants, etc. You have to know how they prepare their foods. Now, in the book of Acts, it tells us that it is also for the New Testament. Just confirming that it's also for the New Testament, Acts 15, verse 19 to 21.
Wherefore my sentence is, that we trouble not them, which from among the Gentiles are turned to allure, but that we write unto them, that they abstain from pollutions of idols, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood.
So we see the dangers here to make us unclean, pollutions of idols, fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. Verse 21.
For Moses of old time hath in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogues every Shabbat day.
So they will know the other laws because Moses is preached in the synagogue, but emphasize these things: pollutions of idols, and from fornication, which we will look at next, and from things strangled, and from blood. Now it is repeated in Acts 21:25.
As touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols and from blood, and have strangled
And from
strangled and from fornication.
That's it in the New Testament. Defilement of blood once again. All right, so let's look now at the defilement of fornication. The defilement of fornication. Get this thing on. All right, so we're going to go to Matthew 5:32. We're going to look at the meaning of fornication. Matthew 5:32. Okay, loading up. Matthew 5:32. Read it, please.
But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery.
Whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication. So we're going to look at the meaning of this word fornication to get a deeper insight. So let's go to tools. And we are going to go save for the cause of Fornication, G4202. It's the Greek word porneia, which comes from G4203, and we're going to look at this as well. So porneia means illicit sexual intercourse, which includes adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, etc. Any form of illicit sexual intercourse is called fornication. So fornication is not limited to adultery. It is not limited to even sexual things between man and woman, but any form of illicit sexual encounter that is not sanctified by marriage. So sexual intercourse with close relatives, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman, the worship of idols, metaphorically the worship of idols, of the defilement of idolatry as incurred by eating the sacrifices offered to idols. So we see fornication is very wide. It might be sexual, it might be metaphoric. It also has to do with idolatry. Now, porneia from 4203, harlotry, including adultery and incest. So let's go. It comes from G4203. Let's see what the origin of the word porneia is. G4203, porneo, which comes from G4204. We got to look at that probably. To prostitute one's body to the lust of another. That is where the word for fornication comes in. To prostitute one's body to the lust of another. To give oneself to unlawful sexual intercourse. Unlawful sexual intercourse. To commit fornication. Metaphorically, to be given to idolatry, to worship idols. To permit oneself to be drawn away by another into idolatry. So we see fornication is very deep. Let's see if we get anything from G4204. It just keeps getting deeper and deeper. So it comes from porne, and we see from G4205, how far will we go? A woman who sells her body for sexual uses, that's the origin. A prostitute, a harlot, one who yields herself to defilement for the sake of gain. Any woman indulging in unlawful sexual intercourse, whether for gain or for lust. Metaphorically, an idolatress of Babylon, that is Rome, the seat of authority. So it is very, very wide. Fornication is very, very wide. And I think 4205 has to go into male prostitutes, I think. Let me go there. We just spoke about the female prostitute, yes. 4205, a man who prostitutes his body to another's lust for hire, a male prostitute. A man who indulges in unlawful sexual intercourse, a fornicator. So it gets getting deeper and deeper and giving more variations. But it just goes to show that fornication is very, very deep and wide. So any form of sexual sins is uncleanness. It is fornication. And that will prevent us from entering into the kingdom of Alua. Okay? So we wanted to look at cleanness in marriage. Cleanness in marriage, as according to 1 Corinthians 7, 8 to 16. 1 Corinthians 7, 8 to 16. Because marriage is a very serious thing. Very, very serious. And we can mess up in marriage and everything can be messed up. Verse 8, please.
I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I.
So Shaul was saying it is best, it is good for them if they remain unmarried. But that is if they can manage it. Verse 9.
But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn.
Mm-hmm.
And unto the married I command you, yet not I, but Yahuwah, Yahusha, let not the wife depart from her husband,
Mm-hmm.
but if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
All right. So if they are not cannot contain, let them be married. But these are for those who are legally and lawfully able to marry before the Most High. Verse 10 says, let not the wife depart from her husband if they are still married. Let not the wife depart from her husband. But, and if she departs, so even though he's saying she must not depart, she can depart. But if she departs, he says, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. So that is actually giving her husband the opportunity still to be reconciled to her. And let not the husband put away his wife. So if they are apart, the husband should not put away his wife. Verse 12.
But to the rest speak I, not Yahusha. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
So if a brother has a wife who does not believe and she wants to dwell with him, he says, let him not put her away. Continue.
And the woman which hath an husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
Now, verse 14.
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are kadosh.
So each one sanctifies the other. The sanctified one sanctifies the unbelieving one, as Shaul says. Continue.
But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but Elohim hath called us to peace.
So what he's saying here, that if a partner is unbelieving, then the believing one must not leave the unbelieving one so as to help that unbelieving one, because they sanctify the unbelieving one, which of course goes against what we just said about the clean and the unclean. Now that is something that needs to be resolved, the clean and the unclean. So we're going to look at another set of verses that probably will resolve it, hopefully. So where were we? Verse 16.
For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?
So the question now is, what is he calling a believer there, an unbeliever there? Because he went on to speak in 2 Corinthians 6, verses 14 to 18, about idolaters. So what about a marriage to an idolater? And this is going to be an open-ended question for everyone to answer for themselves. 2 Corinthians 6, 14 to 18, Shaul said this. Now remember, it says the unbelieving husband or the unbelieving wife must not depart. 1 Corinthians 6, what did I say, 14?
14.
Read, please.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness?
So there we go. He says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. Yet still he's telling the husband and the wife to stay with the unbelievers. Verse 15.
And what concord hath Hamashiach with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
So this here is telling us that these are extreme cases. These are idolaters. These are people who are actually worshiping other idols, worshiping Belial. Huh? It was that, yeah. But he says he was speaking about depart as if they were together before. It is like the good news come to the people, and then the husband come to the word, and the wife remains not believing. That's what he was talking about, because he says, if the unbelieving, let not the wife depart. So you would depart when you're hearing the word of truth. So, verse 16, let's see. Verse 16.
And what agreement hath the temple of Allure with idols?
So we see here, it appears to be speaking about extreme cases of people who are idolaters. He says, what agreement hath the temple of Allure with idols? Continue.
For ye are the temple of the living Allure. As Allure hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Allure, and they shall be my people. Wherefore, come out from among them, and be ye separate, says Yahuwah, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
Continue.
And will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, says Yahuwah Sabaoth.
All right. So, this appears to be speaking of extreme cases when the person is idolaters. The question is it speaking about husband and wife when the husband is an idolater, that the wife should separate herself from him? Something to be resolved, all right? Now, speaking about marriages, there is another defilement that we have to look at. And we had been looking at it some months ago, the defilement of mixed marriage. The defilement of mixed marriage. This is a very sore thing. This brought me many enemies when I did the videos about the mixed marriages. But I am convinced, and Most High keeps showing me, that this is the truth. In the end time, we said he wants us to be perfect. He wants us to be cleansed. He calls us in the book of Isaiah the holy seed. The holy, the set apart Kadosh seed must not be polluted. In the book of Ezra, when the children of Yashar were leaving Babylon, they had to get rid of all their strange wives and even their children. They had to get rid of. Now, I'm not telling anyone what to do. I don't tell people what to do. I speak the word, and the word hits your conscience. You should know what you are to do. Okay? So, the mixed marriage is another defilement that the Most High has brought to our attention once again. Mixed marriage book of, where is it? Okay. So, yeah, we did several videos on it. And so we are going to look now into the book of 4th Baruch. And the book of 4th Baruch is very interesting because it is known as the things omitted from Jeremiah the prophet. And it is also known as the rest of Jeremiah the prophet, or 4th Baruch. Remember, Baruch was the scribe of Jeremiah. The book of Jeremiah, it is said, was written by Baruch. Jeremiah spoke and Baruch wrote it. And Baruch was also a prophet in his own right. And in the Apocrypha, there is the book of 1st Baruch. We have 2nd Baruch, which is known as the Apocalypse of Baruch, which is very, very apocalyptic and very much in line with the prophecies for the end of this age. So the book of 4th Baruch in chapter 8, it tells us explicitly that when we are leaving Babylon, the Most High does not want any of his people to be mixing their seed. A remnant returns to Jerusalem. 4th Baruch chapter 8. Read it, please.
And the day came in which Yahuwah brought the people out of Babylon. And Yahuwah said to Jeremiah, Rise up, you and the people, and come to the Jordan, and say to the people, Let anyone who desires Yahuwah forsake the works of Babylon.
Stop there. Let anyone who desires Yahuwah forsake the works of Babylon. How many times have we been calling people to flee out of the midst of Babylon? And how many times have we been speaking, even with our people here, that we have to leave Babylon alone? We cannot be caught up in her midst. We cannot be going. We have to strive. And that's what we said today, wasn't it? About how the Rastafarians live. That is how we are called back to live again. To live without the system totally. That is how we have to strive. It says, let anyone who desires Yahuwah forsake the works of Babylon. Continue, verse 3.
As for the men who took wives from them, and the women who took husbands from them, those who listen to you shall cross over, and you take them into Jerusalem. But those who do not listen to you, do not lead them there.
As for the men who took wives from them, and the women, and we know when we speak about Babylon, especially people, we are speaking about Edom. Edom rules Babylon. Especially Edom. Especially Edom. As for the men who took wives from them, and the women who took husbands from them, those who listen to you shall cross over. Listen to you what? Listen to you that you cannot come in with strange wives, with mixed wives. For us today, primarily the children of Edom. The Most High has not imparted anything on my heart, on my mind so far about any other nation. It's just Edom is on. Not saying that it's okay for the other nations, but I speak that which has been put on my heart, the children of Edom. If he speaks about any other nations, I will speak. But those who listen to you shall cross over. And I remember when we did the teaching, it was people who were married. I didn't know that there were so many of our people married to the children of Edom. We lost many, many viewers because many of our most passionate viewers, people who loved our teachings and everything and were there with us, when the thing came up about the mixed marriage, bam, it was like something slapped them in their face. And they became enemies. And the people who used to encourage started to curse me. And anyway, let's continue.
And Jeremiah spoke these words to the people, and they arose and came to the Jordan to cross over, as he told them the words that Yahuwah had spoken to him. Half of those who had taken spouses from them did not wish to listen to Jeremiah, but said to him, we will never forsake our wives, but we will bring them back with us into our city. So they crossed the Jordan and came to Jerusalem.
So you see, you cannot enter into Jerusalem with the strange wives. You cannot enter into Jerusalem with the oppressors as your wife or your husband. Those who listened will go into the kingdom. Those who do not listen cannot cross over. This is a purging, a cleansing that has to happen before you can enter into the kingdom. Continue.
And Jeremiah and Baruch and Abimelech stood up and said, No
man joined with Babylonians shall enter this city. Read it again, George. Let's go to chorus.
And Jeremiah and Baruch and Abimelech stood up and said, No man joined with Babylonians shall enter this city.
Edom, the king of Babylon. No man joined with Babylonians shall enter this city. So if you have any thoughts, any idea, any designs on entering into the kingdom with your mixed marriage, you have something coming. Married to the children of Edom. Verse 8.
And they said to one another, let us arise and return to Babylon, to our place. And they departed. But while they were coming to Babylon, the Babylonians came out to meet them, saying, You shall not enter our city, for you hated us, and you left us secretly. Therefore you cannot come in with us. For we have taken a solemn oath together in the name of our God to receive neither you nor your children, since you left us secretly. And when they heard this, they returned and came to a desert place, some distance from Jerusalem, and built a city for themselves and called it Samaria.
So this is the land of Samaria. But guess what? Because this was not the end of the age, they still got time to repent, because verse 12 says,
And Jeremiah sent to them, saying, Repent, for the angel of righteousness is coming, and will lead you to your exalted place.
All right? So guess what? We are at the end of the age. We don't have any time anymore to repent. Now is the time to repent of these things. There is no more Samaria for us to have. So those who have mixed marriages, this is a defilement. As I said, especially with the children of Edom. All right, so another one that we have to look at, and we won't look at it in detail. We'll probably have to do a teaching maybe in the morning on this only, and that is the uncleanness of bodily discharges. The uncleanness of bodily discharges. And that is in the book of Leviticus chapter 15. Leviticus chapter 15. Now, there are several, about 3 or 4 different instances of bodily discharges. Read from verse 1, please, George.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Yasharal, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is his uncleanness. Every bed whereon he lieth, that hath the issue, is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat, that hath the issue, shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And if he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the even. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And whomsoever he toucheth that hath the issue, and hath not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And the vessel of earth that he toucheth, which hath the issue, shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and come before Yahuwah unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before Yahuwah for his issue.
All right, so they just wanted to show one of them. The rest of them are there which, as we said, we probably will deal with in a morning teaching. When when adults alone are there, when we can actually speak explicitly. So, yeah, the laws against bodily discharge. You can go and read Leviticus 15 for the entire details on that one. So we just look at a few cleansing, sanctification things, those that have been revealed to us over the past days, because as we learn, so we teach. The Most High gives us practical sometimes, and so we go to the theory. Sometimes he gives us the theory first, and then he shows us the practical after. Whatever it is he's teaching us, and whatever we learn, we teach others. Okay? Now, let's look at the perfection in the New Testament, because we're touching down now near to the end. Perfection in the New Testament. Colossians 3, 1 to 17. Remember, we are speaking about the cleansing in the latter days for the latter day saints. Colossians 1. Hold on, please. Colossians what? 3?
3 verse 1.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
If ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of Eluah.
So we're going to seek spiritual things. Since we say we have been immersed and we are now following Yahusha, we are going to seek spiritual things. Verse 2.
Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth.
So our affection, our desires are going to be on spiritual things that are heavenly, not on natural carnal things. Verse 3.
For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in Eluah. When Hamashiach, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in splendor. Mortify therefore your members, which are upon the earth.
You see these things being repeated over and over. Fornication,
uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence,
and covetousness,
which is idolatry.
All these things are repeating over and over again. But hear this now. For which things' sake, verse 6,
for which things' sake the wrath of Eluah cometh on the children of disobedience.
So if you are in fornication, if you are in uncleanness, if you are showing excessive affection, if you are in evil concupiscence, evil desires, and covetousness, which is idolatry, then the wrath of Eluah is lurking around for you. That is why we tell people it's important, this teaching, to know that we have to be clean. The whole idea of following the Most High is taking ourselves out of pollution and walking in cleanness. Cleanness means free from sin, free from pollution of this world, free from lust and desires, free from idolatry, free from fornication, free from our own desires, and walking as servants of the Most High, walking according to His desires, not ours. Read from 6 into 7, please.
For which things' sake the wrath of Eluah cometh on the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked sometime, when ye lived in them. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth.
You see how many things we need to get rid of? We have fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, covetousness, which is idolatry. And we now have anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth, lies. Continue.
Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
So we have to put on the new man. We have to be new creations, which is what I said at the beginning. We have to be born again, recreated in the image, after the image of him that created him. Who created us? Yahuwah Sabaoth. We have to now be holy or kadosh as Yahuwah is kadosh. That is our calling. Our calling is a perfection, that we are in the likeness of the Most High. That's how serious our call is. Verse 11.
Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Hamashiach is all and in all. Put on, therefore, as the elect of Eluah, kadosh and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Hamashiach forgave you, so also do ye.
So you see our calling, people? You see how demanding it is. Put on as the elect of Eluah, set apart, kadosh and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another and forgiving one another. Continue.
And above all these things put on love, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of Eluah rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. Let the word of Hamashiach dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with favor in your hearts to Yahuwah. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Yahushua Hamashiach, giving thanks to Eluah, the Father, by him.
Our people, this is how we must live. This is how we live sanctified before the Most High. And we're going to end today. I think this is where we end. No. 1 Thessalonians 4:1-8. Another indication of how righteous we have to strive for righteousness. Read, please.
Furthermore, then, we beseech you, brethren, and exhort you by the Master Yahushua, that as ye have received of us how ye ought to walk and to please Eluah, so ye would abound more and more. For ye know what commandments we gave you by the Master Yahushua, for this is the will of Eluah, even your sanctification, that ye should abstain from fornication.
All right, so we see the will of Yahuwah is your sanctification, is your cleansing, is your being taken out of filth and pollution, and to be holy, set apart. That ye should abstain from fornication. There we go with fornication again. Verse 4.
That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in
sanctification and honor. To possess your vessel in sanctification and honor. Verse 4, verse 5.
Not in the lust of concupiscence, even as the Gentiles, which know not Eluah.
So we don't present our body in lust. The lust of concupiscence. Where is it? G1939, concupiscence, a longing especially for what is forbidden. Desire, lust after. So we are to possess our body in sanctification, in self-control, in perfection and honor, not lusting and longing after desires, sexual desires, even as the Gentiles which know not Eluah. So when you know Eluah, you will not be having these lustful desires. Verse 6.
That no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter, because that the Master is the avenger of all such, as we also have forewarned you and testified.
All right, there's more qualifications again. Verse 7.
For Eluah hath not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness.
Stop. Read it again, please.
For Eluah has not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness.
And what did we say at the start? Seek ye peace with all men. Seek peace with all men and holiness, without which no man shall see Alua. Alua hath not called us to uncleanness, but unto holiness, unto perfection, to be like his Son, to be like him. Verse 8.
He therefore that despiseth not man, but Alua, who hath also given unto us his Ruach HaKadosh.
So Shaul is saying these things that we are saying, these things that I am saying, when you despise me for saying it, you are not despising me, the man. You are actually despising Alua, what gave unto us his Ruach, which has led us to bring out these things to you. He therefore that despiseth not man, but Alua, who hath also given unto us his Kadosh, his Ruach HaKadosh. Okay? So, just a reminder that the unrighteous cannot inherit the kingdom of Alua. And I think we did Ephesians 5 before. Let's see. Let me pick up. The unrighteous cannot inherit the kingdom of Alua. Let me see. Where did we do? Let's start at 6.
Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of Alua upon the children of disobedience. Be ye not therefore partakers with them, for ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Master. Walk as children of
light. Continue.
For the fruit of the Ruach is in all goodness and righteousness and truth.
All right, so when we are walking in light, we will be walking in the fruit of the Ruach, all those things up there on the wall. And it is in all goodness and righteousness and truth. And when we are walking in the fruit of the Ruach, we will be walking in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. And verse 10 says,
proving what is acceptable unto the Master, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
All right, but rather reprove them. 1 Corinthians 6, 9 to 20. This, I think, 1 Corinthians 6, 9 to 20. Yes, this should be it. 1 Corinthians 6, 9 to 20. Go ahead, please.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Alua? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Alua.
Shall inherit. Notice again, fornicators again. Once again, idolaters once again, adulterers once again, covetous once again. These keep repeating themselves over and over. They shall not inherit the kingdom of Alua. This or these things should have been in our past, because verse 11 says,
and such were some of you, but ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach by the Ruach of our Alua.
And this is now is about sexual immorality, because fornication is so prevalent in this that we are seeing. 1 Corinthians 6 verse 12.
All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any.
So, all things are lawful unto me. Shaul now is speaking about things being lawful, but not expedient. Okay? And we always like to use polygyny. Some say polygamy, where there is no law that says you cannot have two wives, but it is not expedient for us in this new covenant. Let's continue.
Meats for the belly, and the belly for meats, but Alua shall destroy both it and them. Now the body is not for fornication, but for Yahuwah, and Yahuwah for the body.
So when we come to the Most High, people, what the word says we are bought at a price. We no longer belong to ourselves. We now belong to the Most High. So we have to give an account to the Most High with what we do with our bodies. Every little thing that we do with our bodies, we have to give an account. That is why we have to be careful what we put inside of it, what we put on it, how we adorn it, the clothes that we put on, whatever we do, everything, we are accountable for it. The body is not for fornication, but for Yahuwah, and Yahuwah for the body. Continue.
And Eluah hath both raised up Yahusha, and will also raise up us by his own power. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Hamashiach? Shall I then take the members of Hamashiach and make them the members of an harlot? Eluah forbid. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
So this is, again, the combination of the clean and the unclean. When you partner with an harlot, it says both of you become one body, one flesh. Spiritually, it means that whomever you are joined with, and this may mean in marriage or in fornication, or it may also mean that you're joined in mind with someone who is unclean, for want of a better word. And this would be like sinners standing in the seat of the sitteth in the seat of the scornful, standing in the ways of sinners. Continue verse 16.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the master is one ruach.
So we have the difference there between the body and the ruach. Verse 18.
Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth without the body
Is
without the body. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Ruach HaKadosh, which is in you, which you have of Eluah, and ye are not your own? For ye are bought with a price. Therefore magnify Eluah in your body and in your Ruach, which are Eluah's.
So we have to be clean in our body and clean in our Ruach, because our body and our Ruach belongs to Yahuwah. So, people, this is the end time cleansing of the saints. We have only touched cleansing. There's so much to it, so much we could do. But trying to condense it in a short thing, I hope we have done justice to bring out certain things that the Most High has been showing us over the past few weeks. Our body is the temple of the Most High. We cannot use our body and defile our body, because our body we must exalt him in our bodies and also in our Ruach, because both our body and our Ruach belongs to Yahuwah. Okay? So this is what I have for today. Okay? So, all right, first time. I think this is the first time broadcasting this on Facebook. All right. Hey, El Pedro, I haven't seen you for a while. All right. All right. All right, Alison Peterson said, Shabbat Shalom, I'm glad to find you here. Is there any way to be able to, for me to go back to the beginning of this teaching as I missed it? So I think when it's done, it's gonna be online when it's done. So it's gonna be there that you can go back and check it out. All right. So Anthony Osborne said, I heard some contradictions with Paul's writings about the unbelieving wife with the unbelieving husband. And again, I disagree with the husband argument that the clean. I disagree with the argument that the clean can't make the unclean clean. What about the woman with the issue of blood? The woman with the issue of blood, that was Hamashiach's power. And she, yeah, that was his healing power. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Anthony, that was healing. And of course, any clean person can heal an unclean. All right? But what we're talking about is like association. Association. So that is why with sinners, we speak the word of the Most High so that they can change. But us associating with them does not automatically change them. That's the whole point that we're making. So if, for example, you go and you are constantly around someone who is a dedicated sinner, if you're around someone who is a dedicated sinner and you're around that person for a while, chances are that sinner will pollute you. If you are just there, not speaking the word, not trying to make the word sanctify them, but trying that because they're associated with you, they will change, then you'll be waiting a very long time. It is the washing and regeneration by the word, the ruach, that does the changing. All right? Oh boy, let me get this paused. Okay. So any questions before we go? Any questions? I see Labone. Thank you for being here. And Alison, we have Michael Norwood. Shabbat Shalom. We have El Pedro. We have Malkiel. All right, so that's it. Remember, this teaching is also available on justaword.tv as well. And I think when this is up, when this is over, we will have this on Facebook as well. All right. So, anything else that I'm forgetting? Okay, then. And remember that the reason we are here is because we got a 7-day from 7-day from YouTube. And yeah, we got a 7-day from YouTube, so we won't be able to post until about Monday. That is where we normally are. You can check YouTube for Just the Words channel. And a reminder as well of our 24/7 online radio, Jaw Radio at jawradio.org, JAW, which stands for Just a Word, JAW radio.org. And if you have an Android device, you may check out the Google Play Store for our Jaw Radio app, JAWRADIO. Okay? All right. So thank you all for being here. Let me see new comments if there are questions. All right. Hey, Ruth. Shabbat Shalom to you as well over there in Chile. All right. So until next time, thank you for being here with us and Shalom.